And now, a hometown tour of New Vienna.
Well, you don't have to travel far to get in touch with nature. New Wine Park sits just south of New Vienna off Highway 52, formerly known as Highway 136, sitting right on the edge of Delaware County. Dubuque County Conservation Director Brian Preston says New Wine Park was first purchased in a couple of different parcels back around 1968.
It was purchased because it was a old growth forest with lots of mature white oak trees and walnut trees along the North Fork of the Maquoketa River there. I think originally the plans were to put a small pond or lake in about 7 acres in the park, but after they analyzed the flow and the flooding history and the geology of the area, they decided not to go the lake route. So it's got a campgrounds and some picnic areas and a really good chance to see some really big mature trees.
Preston says New Wine Park is Dubuque County's second most used park, which he says is surprising considering it's a fairly small park. But they have lots of campers during the week and travelers stopping by too.
The campground is probably one of the most popular features. The Dyersville, New Vienna area is really popular for tourism, not far from the Field of Dreams. So it's kind of fun when I go out to New Wine Park and get to meet people from all across the United States. I've met people in many different states, on the East and West Coast, and coming to enjoy Field of Dreams and see some of the sites there. We also have, some picnic area. Picnicking has gone down over the years, not as popular as it used to be. And we put a 9-hole Frisbee golf course, I guess it is. That's really popular. A lot of people like to go out there. It's a challenging little 9-hole course and gets a lot of play. There's also, the North Fork of the Maquoketa running through the park. And we're in the process right now of developing a water trail plan, which will include kayaking down through Dyersville and down to the city of Cascade. So it's a really neat scenic route along the North Fork of the Maquoketa there. So hopefully this fall we'll start implementing that water trail plan and start floating that.
Preston says there'll be a lot going on at New Wine in the next year or two.
So the campground was built in, I think, 1969 or 1970. So all of our infrastructure is 50 years old. So we're going to be replacing the electrical service and the water lines in the campground, upgrading to 50 amp electrical service. Not all the campsites have electrical service, and we're going to be adding some campsites in some of the open areas that don't have camping right now. So that'll be pretty exciting, expanding the camping there. And we're also planning to put some cabins in. In the area, we don't have any cabins that people can rent. So unless you have a tent or an RV, there's not really any places for you to be outside and in the great outdoors. So plans are to add some cabins to New Wine in the next couple of years.
New Wine was actually at the end of the path for the 2008 Parkersburg Tornado. It was a weak tornado by the time it made its way to the New Vienna area, but Preston says the twister left its mark.
If you haven't been there for a while, back in 2008, remember that line of storms that went across Iowa and hit Parkersburg, Iowa? Interestingly enough, I was at home watching that on the news live, and I thought, no way will that tornado stay on the ground all the way across Iowa, but it did. And it came through New Wine Park and then lifted up. But it wiped out 33 acres of timber just off the side of the campground. So we did a salvage harvest there, and we replanted 2,500 oak trees and some white pine trees and some other things. But it really was quite devastated by the tornado at 33 acres. But it is really cool to see now. It is a really young forest, and there's just an exciting amount of growth and diversity in that spot. The wildflowers, the spring wildflowers. New Wine Park, I forgot to mention, is really well known for its spring wildflowers on the forest floor. So if you go out there in late April, early May, you'll see a wide variety of spring ephemerals, including bluebells, Virginia bluebells. There's some rock outcroppings just behind the campground that are just loaded with Virginia bluebells. Really pretty.
If you want to make a trip to New Wine, you can make reservations, or you can just show up and pick a site.
30% of our sites are available by reservation. So those are all done online at mycountyparks.com. You click on Dubuque County or facilities and search for New Wine Park. Otherwise, the other 70% of the campsites are available on a first come, first served basis. So you can come on out to New Wine, pick a site that's not occupied, and go ahead and self-register. It's a great opportunity. There's a nice shower house there, and we have firewood available. I think it's a great place. There's hiking trails at New Wine Park. We get a lot of folks from New Vienna that come down and hike on their trails. it's really a peaceful setting. It's, way off the highway. You don't hear no traffic noise or any of that. You hear nature sounds and running water. Interestingly enough, New Wine Park is one of the larger inland roosts for bald eagles.
When you're ready to get in touch with nature this year, don't forget about New Wine Park, a treasure right in our own backyard. Your hometown tour of New Vienna, I'm Janelle Tucker.